But you got to know we get together and it has helped better. Allow God to lead you. It means you're learning. Now unto him who is able to keep you watching and call us. God is wherever you are. For there is nothing where you are. So all the favor you have placed upon my life, that I begin to demonstrate your love even greater. There's success at Calvary who is found by religion. But Lord, forever give you later day at work all the lies that have ever been out to get ready to about the website and either lie.
Taking the time, Issachar, the day to prepare. Father, we thank you, knowing that you and honor. I have to let you know, the atmosphere is for within air, which is about in this space to the season of 2018. It's the year of Lashana Tovah, heads of the first month ecclesiastical. Yesterday, we once a year for a temporary. How many of us know that the writer of peace and for all, when he took off his glory, Christ, Yeshua, 779. Talk about 5779. We are Adam. That is where they within the Hebraic teaching, within the Hebraic perspective, and it's not always year called AN. It's the 79th year of AN, and then this 9th year is that goes along with each alphabet letter or Hebraic. Each letter within the alphabet and numerology here, 57 represented. It represents understanding. Once you finish with 9, you roll over into 1. Then we are now within the kingdom. It's a number of finality by a serpent. Have an understanding and interpreting this prophetic season over this paradigm is we're looking at a year are going to be the overriding to in our symbolically what Jesus said. And the fowls came and to him, but to them it is not given. It is given. I want you to on kingdom to understand what's happening in the foundation of the world. It is Matthew 10 on a mandate and in this year we sheep of the house of Israel of the provide neither gold nor silver nor birds there. Let them stay in this. And whosoever shall not receive you, he says, listen, I want you to shake the dust off of your feet. Shake the dust off your feet. He says, take no remnant of that place with you. He says, shake it off of your feet. And he says, I want you to keep it moving. He says, and this is what you got to understand. It's going to be hard on them in the last days. It's going to be hard on them in the last days. And he says, listen, I want you to understand, listen, you're going forth on my mission, and I'm sending you forth. I'm giving you power to do certain things, and I want you to go forth with my mission. Now watch what he says here in verse 16. He says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore, watch this, wise as serpents, but harmless as doves. He says, I want you wise as a serpent, but I also want you as harmless as a dove. Now, he says to the believer, to the disciples who are going forth on this apostolic journey, I need you to have this attribute from a snake. A-N, Tet, revelation, and the snake himself, the subtlety of the snake. Now watch this. In biblical context, the serpent represents several things. It not only represents evil, A lot of times we only think that the serpent represents evil, but it represents much more than that. And we're going to talk about that in this broadcast and maybe a couple more down the road. We're going to talk about what he really represents. But one of the things that he represents, watch this, is not only evil, but he also represents wisdom. Notice the context. He says, I want you to be as wise. I want you to be as wise as Big Mama's wise sayings. No. I want you to be as wise as your pastor. No, that's not what he says. He says, I want you to be as wise, as intelligent, as prudent, as mindful as a snake would be. I want you to be as wise as a serpent and yet be as harmless as a dove. He gives get from him. Revelation, he's playing good, but I want you don't have children that eat job and tell your respond status of your heart. And watch this, but as home waking up spirituals in your every thought that can bring you off. Some injuries we have as a soul